Every thought you think is a seed. Plant only the seeds of abundance. Imagine your mind as a fertile garden. You decide what grows there. When you sleep, the garden of your subconscious is open. Sow only words of wealth, peace, and divine overflow. Speak silently as you rest. My supply is endless, inexhaustible, and immediate. Every word is a decree. Words are not idle, they are spiritual forces shaping the unseen. Poverty is not conquered by toil but by truth. Truth declares, I already have all that I desire in the invisible, and it is now made visible in perfect ways. Fear is misplaced faith. Fear imagines the worst and draws it. Replace fear with the quiet knowing that what belongs to you cannot be taken. Release resistance. Stop grasping at wealth, let it flow. A river is never anxious about reaching the sea, yet it always does. Give thanks for what you have and for what is already on its way. Gratitude is the magnet of miracles. In the silence of sleep, let praise be your final thought. Order is the law of the universe. There is no chaos in divine supply. Your good is already scheduled. It will arrive with precision, not a moment late, not a moment early. Rest in this truth tonight. I fall asleep into overflow. I awaken to divine wealth. Right thinking is the foundation of every good thing you will ever receive. Every event in your life, every circumstance you meet, is first shaped in the invisible realm of thought. You cannot rise above the images you continually hold in your mind. If you picture lack, you draw lack. If you picture wealth, you magnetize wealth. The mind is the workshop of your destiny, and each thought is a tool shaping your future. You cannot think poverty and expect abundance, any more than you can plant thorns and expect roses. The soil of your consciousness is neutral. It will produce whatever seed you plant. If you allow the weeds of doubt, fear, and resentment to grow, they will choke the flowers of your good before they bloom. Right thinking is not an occasional act, it is a constant discipline. You must watch every thought and refuse entry to those that deny your good. Every thought vibrates through your whole being. A thought of lack weakens you. A thought of abundance strengthens you. Your thoughts are broadcast into the unseen, and the unseen always answers in kind. Think health, and you send out a current that draws health. Think wealth, and you send out a current that draws wealth. There is no such thing as an idle thought. Every thought is a silent decree, and the law of life responds without fail. If you would live in divine overflow, your thinking must already match the reality you wish to see. You do not think abundance because you have it. You have it because you think it. The law is exact. When you picture yourself as already supplied, you open the door for that supply to come in visible form. When you see yourself as poor, even in imagination, you close that door. This is why you must guard the images in your mind as carefully as a king guards his treasure. Think of your mind as a sacred chamber where only the finest guests are allowed. Doubt is not welcome there. Fear is not welcome there. Self-pity is not welcome there. You admit only the guests that bring you joy, peace, and prosperity. Right thinking requires persistence. You may be tempted to believe the evidence of your senses, the bank account, the bills, the unpaid debts. But these are only shadows of past thinking. They have no power to dictate your future unless you agree with them. What you see now is the harvest of yesterday's seeds. Plant new seeds today, and your tomorrow will change. The law cannot be fooled. It will give you exactly what you have sown, no more and no less. If you have sown scarcity in thought, it will give you scarcity in form. If you have sown abundance in thought, it will give you abundance in form. You may say, "But my thoughts are private." In truth, they are not. Every thought is a vibration sent into the great ether, and it draws to itself the forms, people, and conditions that match its tone. Right thinking is like tuning an instrument. You align yourself with the harmony of the universe. Wrong thinking is discord. It jars against the law and produces confusion and lack. The choice is always yours. To think rightly, you must speak rightly. Words are crystallized thoughts. If your words contradict your desired good, they will cancel your thought. You cannot affirm wealth in your mind and speak of how expensive everything is without scattering your energy. Your words should be chosen as carefully as a jeweler chooses precious stones. Let every word carry the fragrance of faith. Speak as one who already possesses the riches of heaven and earth. You may begin with deliberate affirmations until they become your natural thought pattern. Whisper them as you drift to sleep, for in the stillness of the night, your subconscious is most receptive. Let these ideas sink deep into the soil of your mind. I am a magnet for divine wealth. I think only thoughts that bless my life. I dwell in a universe of endless supply. As you repeat such truths, they will crowd out the old patterns of lack and limitation. The more you think abundance, the more you will see it around you. Opportunities you never noticed before will appear. People will be drawn to you who can assist in your good. Ideas will come that open doors you did not even know existed. This is not coincidence. It is the inevitable result of right thinking. You have aligned your inner world with the rich, generous current of life. And that current must express itself in form. When you catch yourself thinking wrongly, do not condemn yourself. Simply replace the thought at once. Just as a gardener uproots a weed before it spreads, so you uproot each thought of lack before it multiplies. Do not wrestle with it, just plant the new seed immediately. Say to yourself, that is not my thought. My mind is filled only with the truth of abundance, and move on in peace. Right thinking is not about ignoring reality. It is about creating a higher one. It is about knowing that the unseen is more real than the seen, and that your inner images are the blueprint of your outer life. As you persist in thinking only that which you wish to manifest, the outer world will shape itself to match. The law cannot do otherwise. The practice is simple, but it requires vigilance. The reward is beyond measure. As you master your thoughts, you master your life. Your mind becomes the open gate through which divine overflow enters without resistance. Every right thought you think is a brick in the mansion of your wealth, a jewel in the crown of your success. Think richly, speak richly, and you will live richly, for the law of right thinking is the law of heaven itself operating on earth through you. The spoken word is a wand in the hand of the Spirit, shaping the invisible into form. Every word you speak is a seed cast into the field of the universe, and that field will return to you a harvest that matches the nature of your words. Words are not idle, they are living things. They carry vibrations that move through the unseen and call forth their own kind. Speak words of wealth, and wealth begins to take shape. Speak words of lack, and lack hastens to obey. The law makes no distinction, it fulfills exactly what it is told. Your mouth is the doorway between the invisible and the visible. What passes your lips sets creation into motion. When you declare, you decree. You cannot say, I am poor, even in jest, without sowing that seed into the fertile soil of your life. You cannot say, I can't afford it, without shutting the door to the possibility that you can. Every time you speak, you are either building or tearing down, calling forth life or scattering it. Words must be chosen as carefully as a merchant selects his finest goods. You do not display rags in the shop window when you wish to sell silk. In the same way, you do not speak of failure when you wish to live in success. Speak always in the language of the life you wish to live. The moment a negative word rises to your tongue, replace it with a word of power. Train your speech to carry only the fragrance of faith and the sound of victory. What you continually affirm with your lips sinks into your subconscious mind, and once there, it works without ceasing to bring forth that which it has received. This is why the constant repetition of words of abundance, health, and harmony produces visible change. The subconscious is the great builder. It does not argue or question. It accepts the pattern given to it through words and sets about to construct it in the outer world. Many speak carelessly, not knowing that every word is a command. They speak of their troubles, and their troubles multiply. They talk of sickness, and sickness increases its hold. They speak of the high cost of living, and their expenses rise to meet their words. You cannot use your tongue to complain and expect your life to improve. The law of the spoken word is exact. What you verbalize, you magnetize. To use the spoken word rightly, speak of the good you desire as though it were already yours. Do not say, I will be rich. Say, I am rich now, in mind, in spirit, and in form. Do not say, I hope to be healed. Say, I am whole and perfect now. Speak in the present tense, for the universe knows only the now. Your words must agree with the truth you claim, not with the shadows you wish to leave behind. The power of the spoken word is multiplied when joined with feeling. A cold, lifeless affirmation will not plant deeply, but when you speak with conviction, when you let every syllable carry the force of belief, the word becomes irresistible. The unseen must obey. Say it until your voice and your soul are in perfect agreement. Speak it until the truth you declare is the only reality in your mind. Let your words be blessings, not curses. Speak well of yourself. Speak well of others. Speak well of your affairs. Even in the presence of lack, speak abundance. Even in the face of illness, speak health. Even in the shadow of fear, speak courage. The tongue that refuses to speak defeat will never taste it. The tongue that blesses will live in blessing. You can transform an entire atmosphere by the words you speak. A room heavy with tension can be lifted by words of peace. A mind weighed down with doubt can be set free by words of faith. A heart trembling in fear can be strengthened by words of truth. Such is the power that lies in speech, to create, to heal, to open doors where none were seen. Guard against idle conversation that affirms lack or failure. You may think it harmless to agree with others when they complain about hard times, but in that moment you join your word to theirs and strengthen the very condition you wish to avoid. Instead, speak words that lift the tone. Say, there is always a way. Say, every need is met in perfect time. Let your speech be a light in the darkness, and you will walk in light yourself. Begin and end your day with declarations of truth. As you rise, let your first words be words of gratitude and abundance. As you retire, let your last words seal your mind with peace and plenty. Speak over your affairs as a king speaks over his kingdom. Command the good you desire to come forth. Call it by name. Call it as present, here and now. Never underestimate the echo of your own voice. Once spoken, your words do not vanish. They go forth, clothed with energy, to fulfill the mission you gave them. They draw to themselves the conditions necessary for their manifestation. Like a bird set free, they travel until they find the branch prepared for them to rest upon. Once they land, they become form, and the form becomes your reality. Therefore, let every word you speak be a seed of the life you choose to live. Do not allow words of doubt, fear, or failure to pass your lips, for they will return with the harvest of their kind. Speak only the language of wealth, health, and joy. Speak it in the morning, speak it in the night. Speak it until your whole being vibrates with the truth of your own spoken decree. Faith is the only force that can stand in the place where fear once ruled and turned darkness into light. Fear is faith inverted. It is belief in the power of evil instead of the certainty of good. Every time you yield to fear, you give life to the very thing you wish to avoid. Fear sees the problem, faith sees the solution. Fear listens to the voice of doubt. Faith hears only the promise of victory. You cannot hold both at once, for one will always drive out the other. The moment you choose faith, fear loses its hold, for they cannot dwell in the same house. Faith is the assurance that the thing you seek already exists in the invisible and is moving toward you with unfailing precision. It does not depend on outer signs, for it knows the law is already at work. Faith does not say, I will see it when it happens. Faith says, it has happened in the unseen, and soon it will be made visible. Fear waits for evidence before it believes. Faith creates the evidence. Fear speaks of delay. Faith declares the perfect timing of divine order. Fear thrives on appearances. It tells you to look at the empty purse, the unpaid bill, the doctor's report, the door that has closed. Faith tells you these are shadows, the remnants of old thought, and that the true substance of your good is untouched and unshaken. Fear urges you to act in desperation, to grasp and hold. Faith bids you to stand still and know that the law is working even now. The choice between faith and fear is made in the quiet chambers of the mind. When a fearful thought knocks, you need not open the door. You can answer with the voice of truth, I am supplied. I am safe. I am guided. I am victorious. Faith is not mere wishing. It is the firm, settled knowing that your good is already yours. It is the refusal to be moved by any outer condition that denies your inner truth. Fear often comes clothed in reason, telling you that you must prepare for the worst, that you must limit your hope to avoid disappointment. But the law returns to you the measure you have given. If you believe for little, you will receive little. If you dare to believe for much, you will receive much. Faith is bold. It steps into the unseen as though it were already lit with the light of day. fear shrinks back into the shadows, certain the sun will never rise. When faith speaks, it speaks in the language of the present. It does not say, I hope it will come. It says, it is here now. Fear lives in the future, always postponing, always waiting for some sign. Faith lives in the now and draws the future into the present. You cannot live in the vibration of faith and remain in the grip of fear. One must yield, and the moment you give your allegiance to faith, the power of fear is broken. Faith draws strength from gratitude. Every time you give thanks for what you have, you affirm that the source of your supply is still flowing. Fear complains, counts losses, and predicts more of the same. Faith praises, counts blessings, and expects increase. The mind that is full of gratitude cannot harbor fear, for the two are enemies. Gratitude feeds faith, faith destroys fear. Fear is often loud, demanding your attention, but faith is steady and quiet, unshaken by storms. Fear rushes to act in panic, faith moves in perfect timing. Fear spends its strength in worry, faith saves its strength for creation. Fear scatters energy, faith gathers it into focus. In every moment, you are either planting the seeds of faith or the seeds of fear. The harvest will match the seed without fail. When you are tempted to fear, declare aloud the opposite truth. If fear says, there is not enough, speak, my supply is endless and ever-present. If fear says, you will fail, speak, I cannot fail, for I am guided by divine intelligence. If fear says, it will not happen for you, speak, it is happening for me now, in perfect ways. The spoken word reinforced by faith is the strongest force in your possession. Faith does not require that you see the path. It requires only that you take the step you are given. The next will appear when it is needed. Fear wants the whole map before it moves. Faith knows the map is already drawn and that each step will unfold at the appointed time. Fear is restless, doubting the outcome. Faith rests, knowing the outcome is secure. You train faith the same way you train a muscle, by use. Each time you choose to believe instead of doubt, you strengthen its power. Each time you speak truth instead of repeating fear's lies, you anchor yourself more firmly in the current of good. Faith grows by being exercised. Fear grows by being entertained. If you refuse to entertain fear, it will starve. You may feel fear rise, but you need not bow to it. Feelings are not commands. Faith is not the absence of fear's voice, it is the refusal to obey it. It is standing in the light so steadily that the shadows cannot cross your path. The more you live in faith, the less fear will find in you to cling to. And when fear does come, you will see it for what it is, an empty shadow, powerless against the truth you know. Faith is the bridge from the unseen to the seen. It carries your word, your thought, your vision into form. It will never drop you, never betray you, never fail you, unless you abandon it for fear. But hold to it, even when every sense denies your good, and it will carry you into the overflow that is already yours by right. The river does not resist the stone in its path. It flows around it and continues toward the sea. So it is with the law of non-resistance. The moment you stop fighting, the moment you stop pushing against the obstacle, the way forward opens of itself. Resistance tightens the mind, shuts the door to new ideas, and makes the problem appear larger than it is. Non-resistance releases the grip, allowing divine intelligence to take hold and move the pieces into perfect position. The one who resists is like a clenched fist, nothing can enter. The one who yields is like open hands, ready to receive. Every struggle you hold in thought feeds the very condition you wish to dissolve. By declaring war on it, you give it more reality, more presence in your life. The law returns to you whatever you focus upon, whether in love or in hate. To resist lack is to keep your attention on lack. To resist fear is to keep your attention on fear. Non-resistance is not approval. It is the quiet refusal to give energy to what you do not wish to keep. You turn your gaze from the shadow and look only toward the light. When you stop resisting, the situation loses its power over you. The mind that is at peace receives guidance clearly, while the mind that is in conflict cannot hear the still small voice of truth. Non-resistance is not weakness, it is strength of the highest order, for it trusts the law to defend and provide. It says, I will not wrestle with appearances, I will stand in the knowing that all is working for my good. Many believe they must fight their way to success, that life is a battle where only the strongest win. Yet the true victories come not from force, but from alignment. When you align yourself with the current of divine supply, it carries you farther than years of struggle ever could. Just as the wind fills the sails of the ship that moves with it, so the law fills the life of the one who flows with it. The one who rows against the current exhausts themselves and wonders why progress is slow. Non-resistance is the art of letting go. You let go of the need to control every step. You let go of the urge to prove yourself right. You let go of the story that you must earn every blessing through strain. You allow life to be what it is, and from that place of peace, you are shown exactly what to do and when to do it. In this state, your actions are no longer born of fear, but of inspiration, and inspired action is always powerful and timely. When an obstacle appears, instead of saying, "This should not be here," you say, "This too is part of the path." You do not push against it, you walk around it, over it, or through it as you are led. The moment you stop saying no to the circumstance, the way to the solution becomes visible. Resistance blinds you to the opening that is already present. Non-resistance allows you to see it at once. Consider the way water shapes even the hardest rock. It does not hammer or break, it flows, it moves, it yields, and yet over time it transforms everything in its way. Non-resistance works in the same manner. You may appear to yield in the moment, but you are in fact aligning with the greater force that is carrying you to the result you desire. The rock does not stop the river changes the rock. This principle applies in your dealings with people as well. The more you resist the actions of others, the more entangled you become in their behavior. If you meet force with force, the conflict deepens. But if you remain centered, refusing to be drawn into the struggle, the energy of the situation dissipates. You are free to choose your own response, and in that freedom lies your power. Non-resistance does not mean you accept injustice, it means you do not meet it on its level. You rise above it, and in doing so, you end its hold over you. When you practice non-resistance, you do not cling to the old. You release the job that has ended, the relationship that has run its course, the opportunity that has passed, trusting that something better is moving toward you. Resistance says, "I must hold on." Non-resistance says, "I let go so my hands are free to receive. What belongs to you will never pass you by, and what leaves you was never meant to stay." Every time you let go of the urge to resist, you open a channel for supply to flow. The more you resist, the narrower the channel becomes. You cannot force blessings into your life, you can only make room for them. The act of letting go is the act of making space. It is the recognition that the universe is already ordered for your good and does not require your struggle to make it so. Non-resistance also means releasing inner resistance, the doubt, the worry, the quiet voice that says, "It's too hard," or "It will never happen." These inner resistances are often more binding than any outer circumstance. When you surrender them, you step into the effortless movement of divine order. Life begins to arrange itself in ways you could not have planned. The right people appear, the right opportunities arrive, doors open without strain. There is great freedom in living without resistance. You no longer fight the flow of events, but allow them to carry you to higher ground. You no longer exhaust yourself pushing against what you cannot change, but put your energy into what you can. Your own thoughts, your own words, your own alignment with truth. You become like the tree that bends in the wind yet does not break, whose roots grow deeper because it yields. Non-resistance is the quiet mastery of life. It is the choice to be unshaken in the face of what comes, knowing that all is working together for your good. You let life move as it will, and you move with it, confident that the current is carrying you exactly where you are meant to be. Gratitude is the voice that unlocks the storehouses of heaven. The moment you give thanks, you align yourself with the flow of supply, and that flow must increase. Every blessing you acknowledge expands, every good you praise multiplies. The mind that is full of gratitude is a magnet for more, for it signals to the universe that it recognizes and welcomes the gifts already present. Lack cannot live in the same space as praise. The one who counts their blessings finds that blessings begin to count themselves into their life without ceasing. Gratitude is not reserved for great miracles, it begins with the smallest evidences of good. The air you breathe, the sun on your skin, the water you drink. the bed where you rest. These are daily proofs of abundance. When you give thanks for the little, you are trusted with the greater. If you cannot see the wealth in what you have now, you will not see it when more arrives, for the eyes of gratitude are trained to find treasure in all things. The habit of gratitude transforms the tone of your entire being. It shifts you from a vibration of wanting to a vibration of having. Want says, "It is not here yet." Gratitude says, "It is here now." The more you live in the state of already having, the more the law must match your inner state with outer form. Gratitude does not wait until the blessing arrives. It calls it present before it is seen, and by that call it draws it into sight. Those who live in complaint shut the door to increase. Every complaint is a declaration of lack, and the law answers with more to complain about. But every thank you is a declaration of abundance, and the law answers with more to be thankful for. You cannot mix the two and expect to prosper. Your words must agree with your desire, and gratitude is the language of the prosperous. To multiply wealth, you must see wealth everywhere. If another prospers, give thanks that prosperity is near you, for what blesses one can bless all. Envy and comparison block the current. Praise and celebration strengthen it. When you rejoice in the good of others, you plant seeds for your own harvest. Gratitude makes no distinction. It gives thanks for the gift wherever it appears, knowing the same source can send it to you in perfect ways. Gratitude also dissolves fear. Fear says, "What if I lose?" Gratitude says, "I am so richly supplied, loss is impossible." Fear looks at the gap. Gratitude looks at the fullness. The mind that is fixed on fullness cannot fall into panic, for it knows supply is endless and ever-flowing. When you speak thanks, you place yourself under the law of increase, and under that law, there can be no decrease. Make gratitude your first response to every event. Even when the good is not yet visible, give thanks for the good that is being shaped. When a door closes, give thanks that it is clearing the way for the right door to open. When a plan changes, give thanks that it is aligning with a better plan. Gratitude sees beyond the moment and trusts the perfection of divine order. Speak your thanks aloud. Let the vibration of your words carry the energy of your appreciation into the unseen. Say thank you for the abundance flowing to me now. Say thank you for the ideas, the opportunities, the open doors, the perfect timing. Say it with conviction, not as empty repetition, but as the joyful acknowledgement of a truth already established. The more you say it, the more you will feel it. The more you feel it, the more you will see it. Gratitude also clears the mind of resistance. You cannot be both grateful and resentful at the same time. One will always displace the other. When you choose gratitude, you release the tension that blocks your good. You open the channels wide for supply to pour through. Gratitude is the open gate. Resentment is the locked door. The choice is always in your hands. Make it a practice to list the good in your life daily. Do not let a day pass without counting the gifts you have received. Begin with what is easy to see and let the list grow. As you do, you will notice that things you once took for granted reveal themselves as blessings. This awareness changes the atmosphere of your life. It attracts more, for the law cannot withhold from the grateful. Even in times when the outer evidence seems small, gratitude can multiply it. A single coin in the hand of one who gives thanks can draw more coins. A small opportunity met with praise can grow into greater opportunities. Gratitude acts upon the substance of things unseen and shapes it into form. The thankful heart is like rich soil. Whatever is planted there grows quickly and well. Live as if you are already in possession of every good thing you desire. Give thanks for the home you dwell in, the work you perform, the relationships you enjoy, even as you call forth greater expressions of them. Gratitude does not mean you cease to grow. It means you grow from a place of fullness, not from a sense of lack. It is the foundation upon which lasting prosperity is built. When you go to rest at night, let your final thought be one of thanks. Thank the day for what it has given. Thank the unseen for what is even now on its way. Let gratitude be the pillow you rest upon, and you will awaken in the morning to more reasons to be thankful. The mind that sleeps in gratitude wakes in abundance. Divine order is the perfect arrangement of every detail in your life, set in motion by a wisdom far greater than your own. Nothing is out of place, nothing is late, nothing is missing when you trust this law. Every step, every turn, every meeting, every delay, is part of a flawless design working toward your highest good. Even what appears as loss or setback is only a repositioning for something greater. The one who lives in the awareness of divine order moves through life without fear, for they know there is a precise unfolding to all things. When you understand divine order, you no longer rush or force outcomes. You do not push against time or demand results before their season. You know that the seed planted will emerge when the soil, the light, the rain, and the season are ready. The farmer does not dig up the seed to check its progress. He trusts the law of growth. So it is with your life. The moment you release your intention into the unseen, it begins to align itself with the perfect sequence that will bring it into visible form. Divine order is the reason the right people arrive at the right time, the reason opportunities open when you are prepared to step into them, the reason doors close when they would lead you astray. When you resist this timing, you create strain. When you align with it, you experience peace. Peace is the sure sign that you are moving with divine order. Anxiety is the sign that you are trying to control what is not yours to control. Trusting divine order means letting go of the belief that you must manage every piece of the puzzle. Your part is to think rightly, speak truth, act in faith, and keep yourself open to guidance. The rest is the work of the law. You may not see the connections being formed in the invisible, but they are there, threads being woven into a pattern more perfect than anything you could have arranged yourself. When a delay occurs, divine order may be protecting you from moving too soon. When a plan changes suddenly, divine order may be aligning you with something better. What feels like waiting is often preparation, and preparation is part of the blessing. You cannot miss what is yours, and what is yours will come at the moment it can serve you best. Divine order is not random, it is precise. The same law that keeps the stars in their courses governs the unfolding of your life. The tide does not rise an hour early, the sun does not set an hour late. Everything in the universe moves according to its appointed rhythm, and your good is no exception. The law works in exact harmony, arranging people, events, and conditions to bring you what you have claimed in thought and word. To live in divine order is to release worry about how and when your good will come. Worry is a declaration that you do not trust the process. Faith is the declaration that the process is already working in your favor. When you choose faith, you align yourself with the flow, and the flow carries you without struggle to the place where your desire becomes visible reality. There are no accidents in divine order. Even the detours serve a purpose. The conversation you overhear, the stranger you meet, the opportunity that seems to come out of nowhere. These are not coincidences, they are the precision of the law at work. When you live in awareness, you begin to notice these arrangements and marvel at how perfectly they fit together. Divine order requires that you act when the way is clear and rest when it is not. It is not inactivity. It is timing. When the door opens, you step through. When the way is blocked, you do not pound on it. You wait for the right one to appear. Your action is powerful when taken in the right moment, and only divine order can reveal that moment. When you are tempted to think that time is running out, remind yourself that time cannot rob you of what is truly yours. No opportunity meant for you can be taken by another. No blessing meant for you can be lost. Divine order guards your portion and delivers it in the way that will bless you most and last the longest. The more you trust divine order, the less you feel the urge to control. You find yourself moving with life instead of against it. You discover that even apparent delays are rich with unseen progress. You notice that situations resolve themselves without your struggle. You realize that every piece is fitting together exactly as it should. Living in divine order also means releasing regret for the past. Nothing in your past is wasted. Every experience has brought you to this moment. The mistakes, the detours, the pauses, all have been woven into the design. You may not have understood their purpose at the time, but when the pattern is revealed, you will see that nothing was out of place. Begin to affirm daily that you live under divine order. Say, everything in my life is in perfect sequence. My steps are guided. My way is made clear. My good comes in the right way and at the right time. Speak these words until they sink deep into your consciousness, for once they take root, your entire experience begins to shift. When you live in the certainty of divine order, you release the stress of wondering how things will turn out. You rest in the knowledge that the same law that holds the planets in place holds every detail of your life in perfect harmony. You see that every event is part of a larger picture, and that picture is one of abundance, peace, and fulfillment. You move through each day knowing you are exactly where you need to be on the way to exactly where you are meant to go. All is already aligned for your highest good, even now. The currents of life are carrying you toward the fulfillment of every right desire, and nothing can stand against the law that governs your abundance. You are not waiting for blessings to begin. They are already in motion, already circling back to you in greater measure than you have imagined. The seeds you have planted in thought, in word, in faith, are breaking through into form at the appointed hour. Walk forward with the quiet confidence that you cannot miss what is yours, and what is yours will not miss you. Every step you take in right thinking, in faith, in gratitude, draws the unseen into the seen. The invisible law is unfailing, and you are moving within it now. Let go of fear, release resistance, trust the timing, and stand in the certainty that you are already in the flow of overflow, divine wealth, and perfect order.